Hey everybody, I am home with a sick baby today, so I am going to give you a little mini lesson and then you are going to do it on your own. So here we go. If you have not turned to Les Mis in your workbook, please do so. I want to say it's on page 239, but double check. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about evidence, but this time instead of just saying according to the text, we're going to add quotation marks and we're going to directly quote what's in the text. So let's work on practicing that. All right, when you quote something directly from the text, you're going to take the entire sentence, everything that you have, and whatever is supporting your claim or whatever is supporting your statement, you're going to take that entire sentence and you're going to put it in quotes and you're going to put it in your answer. So, for example, we're going to do the first one. I'm just going to come up with some things and we're going to practice before you actually do the assignment in Google Classroom. So for example, if you look at the very beginning and I ask you, where does the bishop put Jean Valjean? Where does he put him? We all know he puts him in the room, right? He puts him in that little alcove. So I want you to take your finger and I want you to find in your text where exactly that is. All right, there's a couple of different places. So find something that you think is a good place that proves or that shows where the bishop takes Jean Valjean. Take a minute and do that. Okay, now I want you to share with your neighbor what you got. Don't change your answer, just share with them what you got. Go ahead. Okay, so there's a couple of different places that I'm going to pick. You might have picked something else. Either way, we're going to practice this together, okay? So I'm going to start with my evidence starter according to the text. There's lots of different ways to start that. The text says, in paragraph whatever, you pick, okay? We've talked about this. So I'm going to use according to the text, and I'm going to use line 2. So in line 2 it says, Monsieur, I will conduct you to your room. And that's the bishop saying that. So what I'm going to say is, according to the text, the bishop says, and then I'm going to put a comma, okay? Anytime we say, somebody says, we're going to put a comma right there, okay? Bishop says, I will conduct you to your room. I'm going to quote it directly. I will conduct you to your room. Period. Quotation marks. All right, I'm directly quoting the text. Quotation here, and evidence starter here. Okay, let's do another one. I'm going to do in paragraph 6. In paragraph 6, the text says, and then I'm going to put that comma in there. The text says, make sure you put that comma, okay? And then I'm going to directly quote the text. And I'm going to say, the bishop installed his guest in the alcove. Period. Quotation marks. Right here. Okay? So we have evidence starter. After says, we've got that comma, and then we're putting our quotation marks. Okay? All right. Let's do another one. I know you're wondering why I have a whiteboard at home. You know, that's what you teachers have at home. Okay, your next question is this, or I'm going to give you a claim and you're going to find some evidence actually. So think about whenever the silver is missing. okay? And they discover that the silver is missing in line 24, all right? But my claim is the bishop is unconcerned about the missing silver. Okay, that's going to be my claim. I'm saying the bishop is unconcerned about the missing silver. Okay? Now, I want you to find a piece of evidence that supports the fact that he is unconcerned about the missing silver. Go ahead. I want you to put your finger on it. Did you find something? Take your finger, put it on it. Okay, put your finger on it. Now, there's a couple of really great answers for this. Some of them might not necessarily be a quote, but we're going to try and practice, because that's what we're practicing is quotes. So we're going to try and do it in a quote. Okay, so I'm going to show you one kind of normal way that we've practiced so far, and then a fancy way to do this. So I'm going to say, in the text, the bishop says, comma, got that comma in there. I got my evidence starter, got my comma. In the text, the bishop says, this is line 30. I could put line 30 if I wanted. I'm not going to, but I could. Was that silver ours? Quote. So now I've got my quotations. All right, so I've got the 4 things I need. My evidence starter, my comma after says, okay, it could be states if you wanted to say the bishop states or the text states, that's okay too. But that comma is going to go before the quotation marks. All right, the quotation marks are going to go around whatever it is we're directly quoting from the text. All right? Okay, let's do one more, and I'm going to show you a fancy way to do this. Okay, so get ready. Your mind is going to be blown. Just wait. All right, let me erase this. Go back and pause it if that was too fast for you. Okay, here we go. So look at line 25. In line 25, it says, the bishop had just bent down and was sighing as he examined a plant of Cochlearia de Guillon, which the basket had broken as it fell across the bed. All right, we talked a little bit about this, how he's kind of concerned about his flowers, but he's not concerned about the silverware, right? He's sighing because he's sad that the plant has been broken by the basket. Not that the silverware is missing out of the basket. He doesn't seem to care about that, right? So I am going to put this in context, and then I'm going to do something fancy with the quote. So here we go. So I'm going to say, after the silver is discovered missing, okay, I'm putting this into context now, because if I were just to quote what I'm going to quote, it wouldn't make sense. So I've got to put it in some context, okay? I've got to say they've decided that the silverware is missing, okay? So after the silverware is discovered missing, the bishop okay, let's put the text states in here. Missing the text states, forgot my evidence starter, that, I'm going to squeeze that in there. The text states that the bishop, okay, and here we go. Now I'm going to start quoting. So I'm going to have my comma, that the bishop, or my quotation mark, sorry, not my comma, that the bishop gotta go back. The text states that, oh, I want to put my quote right here because my quote's coming right from there. See, even me, I have to go back and I have to make sure I'm doing it right. I want to make sure I do it right. The text states that, I'm gonna quote line 25. Text states that the bishop, now, I don't need the fact that he's bending over, right? He's just bent down. I don't really need that. That doesn't help my case at all. So I'm going to take it out. So when I take out that part, I'm going to go dot, dot, dot. Those 3 dots are saying, hey, there's more text in here, but it's not really supporting my my claim. So I'm not going to include that. All right. It's just extra words. It's not really needed. So I don't care that he's bending over, but I do care that he was sighing as he examined the plant. All right, so I'm going to say the bishop was sighing as he examined the plant. Now, I don't really care what kind of plant it is, so I'm going to take that out and I'm going to give myself 3 dots. And then I'm going to say which the basket had broken. Quotes. All right. So after the silverware is discovered missing, the text states that the bishop, here are my quotes, the bishop was sighing as he examined the plant, which the basket had broken, end quote. Okay. So when I use these dots, I'm taking out bits of the text that I don't really need, that was supposed to be supporting my evidence. So now, instead of having all that extra information, I've just got what I need. The bishop was sighing as he examined the plant, which the basket had broken. That's the important part, right? He's sighing over that plant. He's upset the plant was broken. He's not upset that the silverware is missing. Now, if I were to say, give me the best evidence, I would say this is probably not the best evidence. I would say the best evidence might be when they're talking about which kind of silverware to use or which kind of forks and spoons to use, right? He just keeps saying, well, let's use this kind. Well, let's use this kind, right? And of course, Madame Magloire is like, well, that has an odor, or that tastes funny, okay? If I were to decide what the best piece of evidence for the bishop being unconcerned, I would maybe put that I would maybe summarize that, right? Because that's a lot of quoting. So I wouldn't want to quote that part, but I might say something like the text states that the bishop continually suggests other types of spoons and forks to use and doesn't seem to care what he eats with, right? So I might summarize that part. But if I'm going to quote something, this is how I'm going to do it, okay? So your job is to, 1, watch that other little video I've put up there for you. Now that other little video talks about how to cite your quote, all right? It talks about how to say, I got this from wherever I got it from, all right? We are reading a small excerpt out of StudySync, and so we're not going to have to worry about that too much. But if you wanted to, you could just simply state the paragraph or the line that you got it from, and you would just do that at the end. So let's say, for example, I wanted to show you what line I got this quote from. I would put line 25 right at the end. You see that, okay? I'll put line 25. And that would say, hey, this is where I got it from. So if you're feeling frisky and you want to add that in there, you go right ahead. We'll add it in there later, and we'll talk more about that later as how you're citing something. But if you feel confident that you can do that and do it accurately with the parentheses and do it well, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to grade you on it, but you go for it. Now I am going to grade you on 1, evidence starter, right? Got to have the evidence starter. 2, I want to make sure you're doing these quotes right. Okay? Part of our learning target is making sure that we are stating the evidence appropriately and correctly in a sentence. and the quotes are part of that, all right? If you need a comma, use a comma, okay? This particular one, I didn't need a comma, but when you're reading it, read it to yourself. Do you pause right there naturally? Do you naturally pause right there? If you naturally pause, then maybe you need a comma there, okay? The first three we did, we'll use commas. This one I didn't need to. It just didn't feel right. Okay, so now I want you to go back to Google Classroom, watch the other little video on there, and then go to the assignment. And hopefully, if I did it right, you will all have a single assignment that you can write on, okay? Make sure you're using your capital letters and make sure you're using correct punctuation, okay? These are the kinds of things that are gonna get you a really good score on that standards-based grading. And I know a lot of you are like, how do I get my grade up? Well, do what I'm asking you to do. Evidence starters, quotes, periods at the end, capitalize, okay? Restate the question, especially if I'm asking for something. They're giving claim, so you're giving evidence. All right, good luck. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow. Okay, right now my little boy is not keeping anything down, so I don't know how it's gonna go. But happy Thursday, everybody. I miss you. Bye.